Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the upcoming lunar eclipse, which is going to be taking place on March 25th in the Virgo Pisces axis and within Virgo in the HASTA Nakshatra. So like the way guys, you know this thing that lunar eclipse tend to remain a time when nature or Prakriti remains very sensitive. That in itself means that somehow we remain very much subjected towards unpredictable, unforeseen, sudden kind of events, and that generally affects those people more in whose cases in their natal chart as well they have these kind of yogas. Like the way, for example, you are born with the Kalsarp yoga, you are born with your moon being either conjunct with Ketu or Rahu, your moon being in any of the Ketu nakshatra, or your majority of the planets are placed in the Virgo, or those planets are active right now in the Dasha which are placed in the Virgo, then you have to remain additionally cautious and careful. But does that mean that eclipse only come to surprise us with uncertain events or unpredictable events? So guys, for all the spiritual seeker, this tend to remain a time of spiritual advancement as well, because the luminaries tend to get subjugated by the power of the nodes, by the power of the Rahu and Ketu. So in a way, Ida and Pingla gets completely absorbed and the Sushumna gets activated. So for the spiritual seekers, this could be a very good time as well. Now guys, definitely when we talk about where all it is going to be visible, so on my channel, majority of the members which are connected with me, they are from India only, and this is not going to be visible in India. So actually knowing this becomes very important, because the precautionary time gets calculated on the basis of whether the eclipse is visible, at what time it is taking place. Like for example, if it is going to be taking place in any of those country, so 9 hours prior to that is the precautionary duration or the clock which gets activated, that you have to follow do's and don'ts before the start of the eclipse. For lunar eclipse, it is the 9 hours prior to that. But guys, now over here as well, there is a catch which I want to specifically mention. Now, because it is not going to be getting visible in India, but that does not mean that it is not making you vulnerable or prone. Guys, you have to understand this thing, that is going to be a time in India where people will be leaving their homes and spending this festival of colors Holi with their family and with their loved ones, because in India as well, as per the IST time, it is going to be starting from 10:23 AM and is going to be visible, like it is going to be there in the daytime till 3:13 PM. But the concern over here is that that is going to be the same time when people will be celebrating Holi. Now why I mention this, because see, apart from there is a legitimate section of people who leave their home and they celebrate this festival of colors with their family and with their loved ones, but Holi also has got a reputation where a lot of hooliganism also takes place. Lot many people who are like unethical sect of the society, who drink, who gamble, who consume cannabis, and they get into fights and all. So see, this is where the planetary vibration happens. You might not belong to these kind of group of people, you might not have any of your interests or activities aligned like that, but just because if in your natal chart right now you're going through a time period which is making you prone or vulnerable. So we all know this thing, that you were driving safe, but just because a drunk driver was coming right in front of you, so because of that, accident happened. So you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful. And yes guys, when we talk about from other parts of the world, so when we will get into the customized results for all the rising signs, so basis that you have to follow caution and care, because as you can see this thing, that the sign where it is taking place, the lord of that, like Mercury, is also debilitated. So that is also not a very good news. And just because guys, it is taking place in the Virgo, it is taking place in the HASTA Nakshatra. So first of all, when we talk about from a mundane or from a global point of view, so definitely like any of the water related calamities or events could take place. Like from the past couple of days, we are already reading it in the newspaper that US Navy is actually having a hard time dealing with and combating with the Houthi rebels as well. So those kind of activities like tsunami, water related activities, and let's say for example, if your interest gets aligned with any of those extreme sports, and specifically those activities which takes you very close to the very daredevil aspect of the nature, like bungee jumping and all those kind of like risky, adventurous, adrenaline rush kind of activities where you play around and you go on a sensitive zone with the nature. So you have to remain very cautious, very careful. Now I'm very much sure if you are watching this video, you must have a fair idea about your own chart, about your activated dasha. So if you're falling on a vulnerable zone, then you have to be very cautious. Whenever there's a time of the eclipses, do not take nature lightly, do not play with the nature. That is all what I can say. And yes guys, like the way we say this thing that like when we talk about the notes, they have this capacity to even give you good results in the most unexpected kind of situation and circumstances. So in certain cases, because moon is going to be strengthened in its own nakshatra, like when we talk about the hasta, so Rohini, Hasta, Shravan are being ruled by moon in itself. So this whole churning taking place in the hasta might benefit lot many people as well. Now definitely your chart has to be strengthened enough to create those results. So yes guys, that was a little bit about which I wanted to say. If I were to share the basic general remedy, so my recommendation, keep yourself hydrated, refrain from taking too risky actions, decision making, impulsive, reckless decision making, all those activities, all those people which stresses you. So try to refrain from those activities, avoid the company of those people. Along with that, doing the chanting for the like the Bij mantra of the moon, Bij mantra of the Ketu, along with meditating, contemplating on your Ishta Devata becomes very important. So yes guys, that was just a basic overview which I wanted to share as my 2 cents on this upcoming lunar eclipse. Now we will briefly look at that when we talk about for the all the rising signs, how it is going to be influencing you. Now guys, over here I will still say this thing that it will be much more recommended to watch and listen to this both from your ascendant and from your moon sign. Like the way guys, why to go so far? In my case, whenever moon is transiting from the Virgo, I get the double blow of that, like double punch of those 2.5 days. Now why I'm saying this thing? Because I'm a Aries Lagna, so Virgo falls in my 6th house. I'm a Aquarius moon sign person, so Virgo falls in my 8th house, and now it is taking place. And you would not believe how beautifully the transit works. Like the way I keep on coming across lot many people, like some of the renowned astrologers, and they also kind of debunk the power of the transit. They say, oh, that does not mean. You would not believe, right at the time when my ascendant lord like Mars transited in the Aquarius, and close to that time only Sun also transited in the Pisces, being conjunct with Rahu, and that was the time my stomach started having problem, and I'm still not feeling healthy from the past couple of days. So transit always has this power to generate the results. So okay guys, now we will shift our discussion to the customized results. Better watch it both from your ascendant and from your moon sign as well. Now guys, when we talk about the Aries Lagna natives, definitely guys, in your case, as you can see that it is going to be influencing the attributes of your 6th house and the 12th house. That in itself means that at your daily work life, you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful. Like this is going to be a time period where, just because the whole energy of this eclipse is Hasta has got a lot to do with the discipline, being perfectionist and all, trying to do things on your own, trying to take that much responsibility in your hand, and trying to execute everything and craving for perfection. So be very careful, take only those much things in your hand which you are equipped, you are trained enough to execute, to handle. This is what the power of eclipse is. A small problem, confrontation which could otherwise been evaded in a very friendly way might get escalated. So be very careful for not getting entangled into any fights, any problems with people, with co-workers. Along with that, health needs to be monitored very carefully. So the Aries Lagna natives, because this whole energy taking place in the 6th house and the 12th house exists, so the fear on the account of hidden enemy, people who are secretly envious of you, along with the health vulnerability tend to remain. Now guys, why I'm emphasizing on the health, because your ascendant lord is also right now conjunct with Saturn. It is also kind of afflicted. It is in a state to give you good monetary career related results, but from the health point of view, this eclipse is going to be a very sensitive news for the Aries Lagna natives. And again guys, a lot is dependent on the natal planetary alignment as well. Like this could be a case that it is making you vulnerable on a health plane. But let's say for example, if you're running dashas are running favorable, you have got some sudden unexpected yogas in your chart, so some people might suddenly be like recommended for some good position, good job promotion, and all that kind of possibility still remains. But major feature or highlight of this eclipse is watch your health. Now guys, when we talk about the Taurus Lagna natives, so guys, in your case now, as you can freely see that this eclipse is going to be influencing the attributes of your 11th house and the 5th house. That in itself means that negative thinking is something which you have to guard yourself. If you're already pregnant, you have to be additionally cautious and careful. Follow the remedies. Guard yourself from taking any excessive risk or usage of any sharp-edged tools, weapons and all. Third thing is that lot many Taurus Lagna natives will be easily provoked towards taking some sudden speculative decision, like eyeing for some sudden gains and all. So you have to be very cautious and you have to curb all those sort of temptations. Students have to be additionally cautious and careful if during this time, like a couple of days before and after, here and there, if you have to write any competitive exam. Now guys, when we talk about the Gemini Lagna natives, definitely guys, in your case, your ascendant lord is somehow going to be a part of that. So that in itself makes you very prone, very vulnerable. So that in itself means that pertaining to the matters of your domestic life, your family life, you do not have to take any sudden decision during this time. Again guys, health and your public image is something which is coming in the scrutiny. So whatsoever your lifestyle is, try to give additional care guarding your public image during this time. That is all what I can say for the Gemini Lagna natives. Now guys, when we talk about the Cancer Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, definitely any of the news of the eclipse, any of the news of full moon, new moon affects you the most. So now again, a lot is dependent on that what sort of yogas you have in your chart. Being a Cancer Lagna, if your ascendant lord in itself is placed in the 8th house, 12th house, 6th house, that in itself makes you very prone towards any of the uncertainties happening in the nature. So the point which I am saying over here is that all attributes of the 3rd house of yours has to be dealt with very carefully. That in itself means that if during this time only you're about to sign any new lease, get into new contract, any new agreement with someone, be very careful. Like all aspect of your communication has to be very carefully monitored. Along with that, your terms with your siblings, with your friends, all of that has to be monitored very carefully. And also guys, like the way I mentioned this thing, even if you're living in India, so any of the short trips, short journeys which you will be taking around this time, be very careful. Now guys, when we talk about the Leo Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, as you can see that the energy of this eclipse is going to be influencing the matters of your 2nd house, which is the house of your finances, which is the house of your family and all. So refrain from taking any sudden decision, impulsive decision in the matters of your finances. Second thing is that there could be some sort of misunderstanding or conflict within the family, because Holi is a festival which we generally celebrate with our loved ones as well. So my recommendation is that try not to confront someone, or if you already have a bad blood or bad past history with someone, so it is not a very good energy to dig all those past buried issues with someone. That is all what I want to recommend for the Leo Lagna natives. Now guys, when you talk about the Virgo Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, energy of this eclipse is going to be influencing right over there in your 1st house. So that in itself means that your health needs to be guarded, along with that your public image as well. Do not do something. And again guys, see, when we talk about the energy of the lunar eclipse, so here it is not you who is prone and vulnerable towards impulsive action, because it is taking place in the 1st house. Suddenly if you feel that someone out of nowhere is accusing you of something, putting some false allegation at you something. So do not lose your calm, do not lose your temper. This is what the energy and uncertainty of the eclipse time is. So you have to be very wise and respond as per the need of the hour. Now guys, when we talk about the Libra Lagna natives, so guys, in your case it is going to be taking place in your 12th house. So welcome to the family of the people who are more prone. So Aries and Libra have to be additionally careful. And guys, in your case, because it is taking place in the 12th house, so again guys, we cannot overlook the importance of the eclipse energy influencing the 12th house. So we know this thing that at the time of the eclipse, somehow the luminaries gets completely subjugated, overpowered by the nodes. So Ida Pingla gets somehow absorbed and Sushmana gets activated. So for the dhyan, for meditation, it's a highly evolved time. Second thing is that when we talk about on a material plane, so definitely guys, some sudden sort of expense which will come knocking at your doors is very much foreseen. And along with that guys, for the Libra Lagna natives, my recommendation to you people is that 2-3 days before and after, do not test the nature, like the way, for example, if in your lifestyle going on camping, going on hiking, any of those risky daredevil adventure sports and all, if that is getting applicable as a part of your hobbies or lifestyle, so around the time of the eclipse, my recommendation is to keep it very low or just be careful. That is all what I can say. Now guys, when we talk about the Scorpio Lagna natives, so guys, in your case it is going to be influencing the attributes of your 11th house and the 5th house. So yes guys, this is a typical yoga where some sudden expense might come knocking at your doors. There is also a possibility of some sudden rift with your within your groups, within your network circle, within your friends as well. Now just because you have to understand that knowing all these predictive results in itself means that even if something is happening, like people are forcing you to behave in a certain way, you do not have to lose your calm. You have to wait for the right time to respond. Because guys, in any case, even during or at the time of the whole eclipse, your ascendant lord is going to be transiting in the 4th house, conjunct with Venus, conjunct with Saturn over there. So there is a lot of inner turmoil which you guys are already, inner churning up which you guys are already going through. And along with that, this eclipse energy influencing in your 11th house might also put you on a radar, like, you know, being put on a spotlight for something which you have not done. People are accusing you, people are blaming you. So be very cautious, be very careful, and take all of your financial decisions very carefully. Now guys, when we talk about the Sagittarius Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, the energy of this eclipse is going to be influencing the matters of your 10th house. So definitely guys, when we talk about your public image, guard that. Your terms and you're dealing with the bosses or the important prominent people, you have to be very cautious, you have to be very careful in all that area as well. And again guys, because you know this thing that a lot many times what happens, because whenever the Hasta Nakshatra comes into prominence, so Hasta in itself has got a lot to do with being very meticulous, trying to shoulder too much responsibilities, trying to do everything, trying to nitpick on other people's work. So refrain from those sort of interfering attitude during this time and guard your public image. And even if something happens where people are out of nowhere accusing you of something, putting some allegation or something, so respond in a very diplomatic way. This is not the right time to get into these sort of unnecessary provocation or fights or confrontation with people. Now guys, when we talk about the Capricorn Lagna natives, so guys, in your case, now as you can see this thing that the energy of this eclipse is going to be influencing the matters of your 9th house. So guys, one thing is for sure that follow additional caution and care while being on travel. Second thing is that whenever energy happens in these sort of houses, then somehow whatsoever is very difficult to evade or divine ordained, that only happens. So all what we can do is surrender. So my recommendation to the Capricorn Lagna native is that doing the japa for the moon and the Ketu will become very important if you're also prone towards, like in your natal chart as well, your moon is conjunct with Rahu or Ketu, or either Rahu or Ketu is active right now in the Pratantar Dasha, Antar Dasha, then you have to remain additionally cautious and careful. So following remedies becomes very important, and just refrain from because this is a kind of a typical yoga where some wrong advice might come to you, or driven by some sort of impulse actions or emotions, getting into conflict with your father, with your teachers and all. So be very careful that this is just a surge of energy on a temporary couple of days only. After that, the energy and the effect of that will fade away. Now guys, when we talk about the Aquarius Lagna natives, definitely guys, in your case you have to be very cautious, very careful. This energy taking place in the 8th house is not very easy to deal with, and in any case you have this pressure of Mars, Saturn, Venus already transiting right over there in your first house. The lord of the Virgo, Mercury, is already debilitated in your second house. So like remedy is the only thing which you can do. The chanting for the moon, for the Bij mantra for the Ketu needs to be done, because otherwise whensoever eclipse energy happens in the domain of the 8th house, like 12th house, specifically the 8th house, nature is in its very strong and peak of the energy, where we tend to remain very helpless to do anything. So all what we can do is that even if someone is accusing us of something, even if things feel like going out of our control, so rather than resisting it, fighting with it, just go with the flow. Do not unnecessarily from your own, do not trying to make things go worse. And yes, doing remedy definitely always helps. That is all what I can say. And my recommendation to the Aquarius Lagna native is that refrain from getting too close to the nature in its dangerous form, like adventure activities, hiking, bungee jumping, camping, anywhere or any kind of sport which takes you very close on a very vulnerable zone with the nature. So be very careful over there. And also guys, be very careful with the animals as well, like dog bite and all. So be very careful around all these entities. Now guys, when we talk about the Pisces Lagna, so definitely guys, in your case, the energy of this eclipse is going to be influencing the attributes of your 7th house. 7th house which tells about your public image, 7th house which tells about your chemistry with your partner. So definitely guys, some sort of sudden misunderstanding with your partner trying to be trying to dominate, trying to control everything, trying to nitpick. So this is how things can happen. And also 7th house also tells about our public image as well. So regarding all these entities, my recommendation, do not do anything driven by a sudden provocation by your partner. If you have already watched this video, you might have already understood that this might be the temporary impact of the eclipse energy, and after a couple of days it is going to fade away. So just follow caution, care. Chanting for the Bij mantra of the Ketu and of the moon will become a sigh of relief for the Pisces Lagna natives. So yes guys, this is something which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. Dhanyavad.